Today I'm going to be using Arch. It's a grain fine, it's a cold press, and it's 300 grams paper, okay? But before everything and before start painting, I want to show you how to draw a flower, okay? I have here my regular paper that is like, you know, printing copy paper. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to use pencil and Sharpie. You are going to make an oval, and then you're going to make a circle. If you divide your oval in 4, it's going to be in the bottom, in between these two. I like to say like a pizza slide, okay? And I have my eraser here, okay? Then I want you to start adding 1 line, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8, okay? And I'm going to erase the extra lines because we don't want to get like distracted. So now we're going to start with the first petal, that is this is my principal petal. So this is my middle line. And I was checking in Google that these type of flowers, the top part of the petals have these like foldings. It's very, very important. Then the second petal is going to start behind, and we're going to just go around, and the circle is going to help us to see how big is each of the petals. The next one, you can even go a little outside the lines, but just a little bit. Then this one I like to start in the top part and then doing the folding. Then we have another one here, same concept. Then we have this, and we have another one. So let's erase the extra lines, and if you have enough space here, we can even add another one here, okay? And I'm going to erase the middle line. And I'm going to add the stem. I hope you guys are able to see it. Let's do with the black. And this is how I draw a flower, a Cosmo flower. Okay, if you're my patron. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to have grab my original that I already tape all around, because I want to have a white frame all around my picture. And I think it looks like very clean and nice. And let me put it in front of me, and I trace it with pencil, and I add some of my incredible white mask because I'm going to be working all the background. I want to protect the flower. Okay, for this, which colors we're going to be using? For the colors, for the background, I'm going to be using my ultramarine blue. Then I'm going to be using this new one that I have, Naples yellow. Then the greens, I'm going to be using my permanent green, then my hooker's green. That's for the background of the green and the blues. And for the flowers, because we have these like blurry flowers, I'm going to be using my permanent rose and some of the yellowish in the middle. Okay, for the big flower, I'm going to be using again my permanent rose, but also for the darker areas I want to use a naphthol red. Center again, I'm going to be using my yellow. Then I'm going to be using a little bit of this orange that is nickel, and the little black areas is more like a burnt umber. And at the end, these little white dots are made with Pro White. Okay, so the lines, I'm going to be using my crystal pen, but if you don't have a crystal pen, that's fine, because what you can do is use the back part of your brush. So for the circles, what we're going to be using, well, for the circles, we're going to be using some stencils. Okay, it can be any size of circle. Let me show you the one that I use. I have this stencil, so I use this circle, and then for the tiny ones I use this one. Okay, and for the brushes, these are the brushes that we're going to use. For Princeton, I'm going to use a round number 12. Then I'm going to be using a round number 6. For the tiny lines, I'm going to be using the number 0. To make my circles, I'm going to be using a flat number 8, but all depend the brand, but it's tiny. Okay, and for my background, I'm going to use this map that is number 3, and I always pronounce very bad this brand, Darwin. That's so hard for me, and it's squirrel hair. Okay, so these are the brushes. Okay, let me check on your. Okay, good. So let's start then by applying some water into my background. So we have already the white the mask, and it's already dry. And how you know it's dry? If you touch it and the product doesn't come in your fingers, that means it's ready for you to use. And I'm going to be sharing my color palette.
Be sure that your brush is clean. That happened a lot to me, that I am very impatient person, and something that watercolor have been teaching me is to be patient, and that's why sometimes I don't clean very well my brushes. I'm guilty, but please learn from my mistakes. Okay, so I'm wetting everything. And how do I know that my paper is completely wet? I see the light of the lamps that I have in the top, and I can see the reflections of the lamps. So I'm going around the flower. And it's better if you tape your paper into a board, like that the paper is not going to be like moving. And if you don't have a good quality paper, you need to be careful because those papers get dry super fast. Okay, so
first I'm going to be adding some of the Naples yellow. So I'm going to add it here. And I'm going to grab a little bit of water. And I want to add it in the middle. And if I see that I need more color, I'm going to grab more of the color. And remember guys, watercolors, as soon as dry, you're going to lose between the 30 and 40% of the intensity of the tone of the color. So that's why maybe you see me already saying some of the comments in Facebook that add more color. And I understand, because you know I start the same, like I was a little afraid to add color because I was thinking, no, it's too strong, and by the time the watercolor is dry, it's like, where all the color went? Okay, so in the middle, very soft and gentle, I'm going to clean my brush, and now I'm going to grab my lightest green, that is my permanent green. I'm going to add some water, and I want to have like light colors, okay? And here I can even start doing some, like, I want to say grasses in the background. With the tip of my brush, I'm just doing some like strokes, tiny ones. I'm using a number 0, but if you have a liner, that's good, you can use it. I'm using my crystal pen for the lines, but if you don't have, you can use your liners. Brushes always are my go for it. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a little bit of the Hawker's green just to broaden the colors, and I'm going to add some lines. And I'm going to clean my brush very, very well. So now I'm going to be using my ultramarine blue in the top. And close to the Naples yellow, I'm going to do some taps. I'm going to use more in the top, more strong color, because I know we're going to lose the color. Okay, in this point, you know how I like, so I like to move my paper. And if you notice that the watercolor is not moving, remember to use your spray. So I have another one. This is more like a small, the spray is smaller. Because I want the watercolor to move. So yeah, you're going to see me like moving all around, just to have the colors blending each other. For me, this is one of the most, like, I really enjoy to do this with the watercolors, when I need to be like moving my paper all around. And you can ask my patrons that always I am doing this, right? So I have an extra water around, so with a little paper, and it's good to clean this, because like by doing this you're going to avoid the cauliflower effect in the bottom of the lines in the edge of your paper. So what you mean, Yvette? So if I do this and I clean the bottom, then I'm not going to have the cauliflower effect as well in this part. It does is when you use more water. Okay, so I think it's looking good. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to, still is wet, and this part is really important, still is wet. So I'm going to grab my next brush, that is the number 6, and I'm going to grab some of the pink that I have here aside, because this part needs to be in wet paper. It's very important that your paper is wet. So add a little bit of the pink. I'm going to grab clean water, and I'm going to start adding some dots that will represent the flowers that are behind. So here you need to like feel like, okay, where you want your flowers and how many flowers you want. This is all about what you want, okay? And you will see that the colors are going to be like very like expand and very pale. Here I want like something in the back. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little more of the pink, and I'm going to grab a little, I'm going to wait a little bit this, not to dry, but I want to say it like to settle down. Let me grab more of the light one and make some little tiny ones here. Okay, so now I'm going to grab more of my pink, this time less water, and I'm going to go in the center of each of the flowers. Okay, I'm going to grab again more of the paint, and I'm going to do some lines. Let me, it's too much. Some lines like this. If the watercolor is too wet, if the paper is too wet, the paint is going to spread, so we need to wait a little bit, just a little bit more, to make more the effect of the petals. Okay, let's see here. Maybe these ones. Yeah, we need to wait a little bit, so I'm going to grab, while I'm waiting, I'm going to grab my thin brush. I'm going to load it with the Hawker's green, and I'm going to make some lines. It still is wet. Too big, it's okay. Let me grab more color. Just with a tip. Each paper is going to work different way. So, in some part I can see here is drying. And the strokes make it different direction, not all of them the same direction. Okay, maybe the pink is ready, so I'm going to be using my same small brush now. I'm going to clean it because it has green before, and I'm going to grab some of the pink, and let's see, still is too wet. Yeah, some petals, 1, 2, like a type of like a star. Just in the center, and all these need to be dry, and when they get dry you're going to see it like, oh, those flowers were like far away. Okay, so clean your brush very well. And now grab some of the yellow, your cadmium yellow, with your brush, and I'm going to add a dot in the center. This yellow is more opaque, so it works really good. Okay, So here we still have time to see what we want to do. Maybe I want to add more like grass, so I'm cleaning my brush. And I'm grabbing more of my Hocker's green. And I'm making some lines again in different directions. Okay, I think it's good. I like the way it looks. You can apply any, like, you can apply, let's see, you can apply more like the light green, the permanent green. Let's see some grasses with the permanent green, just to break the color. And I like to hear my paint when I am painting. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the circles, okay? So grab the circles and your flat brush, and let's start by like peeling. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to set my stencil with a clean brush, and I'm going to swap and clean the color, okay? That's what I'm going to be doing. So let's start by applying just the first one that is going to be in this corner. Clean your brush, take out the excess of the water. Be sure that your brush is clean. Dip it into the water and take the excess, and look at this, guys. Start swapping the color. That's why it's important to have a good watercolor paper, because then if you're using a no good quality paper, you're not going to be able to clean the color or to swap the color. Look at this. See? This is how it looks. So let's keep adding more circles, and remember, guys, you can like have fun. I always say that the bokeh effect for me is like addicted. So I need to know like when to stop, even stop. So I'm just adding, cleaning, and let me show you how it looks when you clean. Let me clean my brush, and then the paint stay in the paper. Can you see the blue? So more you more you swap the color, more the paint is going to come out. And each time you need to clean your brush, each time in clean water, okay? Let me show you. Clean water. Also, you can go and use your napkin, and look at this. See? Let's add another one.
Clean your brush. And the other one is too light. What we're going to do later, we're going to actually add some color. But it's important to clean the brush. Very, very important. Okay. Each time that you're doing this, you need to clean the brush. I found that this is an easier way to paint bokeh effect. Another one that I know how to do it is going to be adding using all the time watercolors. Okay, let's do another one here. Then you want to change the side. And this part is the most, I want to say, time consuming, but for me it's like I'm very excited to see each circle. Let's see if we pure it, because I want to add later some color. You can see very light here, right? Okay, first you work the bokeh effect that you want to take out, and then we're going to add some color. And if you don't, there is the way to clean, to have it super light. Even maybe you can find the white of the paper, or very soft and gentle. to use like less one soft and gentle. Just to change the tone of the blue. Okay, let me show you. See? Just like is there, but it's not too heavy, okay? So let's keep moving. Smaller. Okay. This one I'm going to just move the color inside of the one that is already there. I'm going to just move the blue. I'm not pushing, I don't want to build too much of the color because I want to make another circle. Circle inside the circle. Okay, another one here. I like just to be like sure the side of the circle that I want to be adding. A little bit of blue. And here we can go with small circles. Let's do this one. It changed the tone of the grass. Let me show you another one here. I'm going to go here. Maybe you can see it better. And I'm going to go into one behind the flower. So each time remember to clean your brush and grab clean water. Very soft and gentle. I love it. Okay, let's do another one here. Pink flowers, yeah, we're going to paint pink flowers. I think we all have a very long summer. We're so ready for flowers and more flowers, right? Okay, so let's add another one here. And this time what I'm going to do is to grab a little bit of my ultramarine blue with a lot of water. And what I'm going to do is actually I want to paint it. Let's see if we need more color. And see? We're doing this bokeh effect. So cool. It's good to overlap the circles, guys. Actually, that's the way to do bokeh, is to overlap circles. Clean my brush, because I want to clean this one. And I used to use the little piece of paper to help me with the process. Another one here. But remember guys, to be able to do this, your paper needs to be dry, okay? Because if you do it when your paper is wet, it's not going to be working good at all. Let me show you something. In these circles, I can see the circle that is in the bottom. So what I'm doing, I'm painting more outside the circle. I want to have more white. And I want to leave a little shadow here. Like that you will see the two circles overlapping. Let me show you. You see the colors? Okay. I want just to correct this one. And we can have another one here, smaller one. Okay, smaller one here, smaller, this one. Small one here. Small one here. And it's so relaxing. This is so relaxing. And if you see the original picture on the right side of your screen, you can follow that pattern, or you can just do your own pattern. Okay, so let me just do some here and here, and then we're going to be ready to move forward. Check your comments. You know, it's worth this in the investment. I bought it in Hobby Lobby. I don't remember how much I paid, but it's worth it, the money. Because sometimes, you know, you will spend more time trying to do this freehand than using this type of stencil. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to overlap some of the circles. Because if I don't do it, I'm not going to feel like I'm liking it. Yeah, you can go and grab a coffee or a tea, glass of water, because this part is a little slow process. And I want to have another one here.
This time I'm going to grab a little bit of the pink. Okay, very soft and gentle. What do you think, guys? Do you think we're ready to move forward? This one I want to just move the color just to give an extra. I think we're ready. Okay, so this is dry, so now the next thing that we need to do is to peel.
Peel the white mask. Thank you, Wanier. And you know, guys, if you check original pictures of bokeh effect in photographs, you will see how the colors and the circles get overlap.
Okay, I don't know if you're able to see the lines, but they are there. Let me just put close to you the flower like that. You can see the lines. So I'm going to start with the biggest petal, and then I'm going to skip one because you don't want to work two at the same time, because you don't want the color to mix. So I'm going to work this one, this one, this one, and this one. Then I'm going to dry it and work the other ones. So the base of this flower is going to be a very soft pinkish color. That means that the base, all of it is the same except the center part. So I have here my pink color, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water into clean water, and I'm going to just go and paint. Let me add more water. A very pale pink all around. Then I'm going to be working every single petal. I'm going to avoid to touch the center, and I'm using my number 12 round. We want to have like a solid color. I don't want to have puddles. If you have puddles, what you can do is go clean your brush, take out the excess of the water and move it if you see puddles. Okay, I want to have a flat color. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to dry it down. Okay, now that the paper is dry, we're going to be working like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so with the same pink that we had been using before, that is my permanent rose. Going to grab some of the color. I want to have ready my glass pen, and what I'm going to do first, I'm going to wet. That's why it's important it is dry, okay? The petal that I'm going to be working. Grab a little bit of your pink with water. And I'm going to go around with the tip of my brush. That is beautiful, it has this little tip. And then here I'm going to just add some lines, and here I'm going to add some small lines as well, and I'm going to leave it alone. Wash your brush. So the next petal is going to be this one. Wet it. Grab a little bit of the pink that we have in the palette with water, and first put some lines, strokes here in the bottom, then go around the tip, and then add some like strokes going down, and then some strokes going up, and leave it alone. Clean your brush, and these are going to be dry super light. That is going to be our base to keep adding more like the lines that we're going to be using later. Okay, so next one is going to be this guy, and this guy has, I don't know if you remember, that has like a folding, so I'm not going to be wetting the folding. I'm going to wet just inside. I'm going to grab my pink with water. It's like a medium pink, not super light. I'm going to add some, let me just grab a little more, some here in the edge, and a little bit in the inside in the folding. Okay, let me do a zoom in. Like that, you guys are going to be able to see more the flower. Okay, and as soon as I will be editing tonight, it's going to be much better. Okay, see, do you see the folding? Okay, so clean your brush, wet it, clean water, and I don't want to be painting this because it's too close, and this has a separation with the stem, so I can be wetting the inside part. And here we have another folding. Remember that we have this folding. A little bit of the pink. And if you see, I like to add some like lines, and then I wanna go all around with the tip of my brush, and I'm not touching the folding part, just the bottom part. Okay, and I'm going to leave it alone. So now I cannot move more, so I need to dry it to paint this tree, and then dry it and keep adding more color to the petals. Okay, I'm back, and now I'm going to be painting the second one. So I'm going to first clean my brush, then with the tip of the brush add clean water, and I'm going to wet the second petal from, this is my main petal, to the left. I always, when I am drawing or painting flowers, I have like my main petal where I start everything. So a little bit of the pink, more water. I don't want to have a very strong pink, and here I like to add some like a type of like a irregular lines, and I'm going to go around, and the tip of the petals I like to do some lines like this, and also I like to go outside. Okay, clean my brush, add a little bit of clean water, and we're going to be painting. This one has the same, this part, it has this one too, so we just need to be painting inside of the bottom. First in the bottom, and then something like this, and I'm going to leave it alone. Clean it, clean water. I'm going to wet this. And here the little accident, it is what it is, guys. Let's see at the end if it's going to be showing. A little bit of the pink, some strokes. I'm going around. And some lines. Okay, and I'm ready to dry it again. Okay, so the next we're going to do is again the same, but we're going to start with the big one, and it's important that it's dry because you're going to be wetting it again. But this time you're going to add darker pink. With the tip again of the brush. Okay, then I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm going to add some lines starting in the bottom and then starting in the top. I'm like a pushing the color. Okay, the last part is going to be more intense, and then we're going to be using our crystal pen. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush, clean water, and I'm going to go with the third one. Darker pink, and I'm going to add more pink here. This is a beautiful pink. Very careful on outlining. Now I'm going to clean the excess of the paint, and from the top I'm going to drag the paint like this. These lines or folding need to be made the same direction. The curve of the shape need to be the same of the petals, okay? And we're just like working very soft these curves, but it's there. This is still wet, so I can even add more lines. Clean my brush, add a little bit of water, and this guy. Little bit more of pink. Start in the bottom, more pink. I clean my brush because I want to control more the pink. Clean my brush, a little piece of napkin, and I'm doing just some lines. Okay, clean my brush, grab a little clean water. The next one is going to be dry. It's going to be no wet on wet. It's going to be dry paper on wet. Some artists like to jump this part. I like to do it because I can control more the color. I'm cleaning my brush and a napkin, and then add some lines with the direction of the petal. See? So I'm going to dry it. Okay, we're ready. I'm going to wet my brush. And with the petal I'm going to be working, add some of the pink. I'm going to clean the excess of the paint, and I'm going to drag the paint I'm going to grab a little more pink because this petal is giving shadow to this petal, so I want to add more shadow here. Okay, clean the excess of the paint and just move it. See, I am following this. This is like my line that I need to be like following the lines. Okay, so clean my brush, a little bit of water. Some of the dark pink. I'm going to clean the excess and I'm moving it. And the next one is this one. I prefer to go slow and make more steps than faster and make mistakes. I don't know if that makes sense, guys. Clean the brush, the excess of the paint in a napkin, and I'm dragging the paint. Here maybe I can even add more. Oops, was too much. It's okay. Okay, it's good. Okay, so I'm going to dry it, and then we're going to be working shadows, and then the so I'm going to wet my brush, the tip of my brush. I'm going to grab some of the dark pink. I'm going to grab a little bit of water here, and I want to control. Let's start with our master one. So I'm going to add some in the top, some shadows with the tip, just a tip. This type of flowers, the top part has this darker color in the same tone but darker tone, same color but darker tone. So just to give some like character. Okay, and then in the top I'm going to be doing the same, different direction. The direction need to be, the direction of the petal, different sizes. Okay, you can even add some water. And make some lines. Okay, remember these are going to be more like clear when it's dry. So let's work this one, but I don't want to be on your way. Let me just move. So I like to start in the top. Just outline the top, and then clean the tip of your brush and drag the paint. Imagine the paint need to be here, so move your brush thinking that you are going to final position of your brush is here, but you're stopped here. It's, you know, just to give this extra shadow. And the bottom we're going to grab, and you're going to add some, clean the brush to control more the amount of water. I'm going to clean my brush because I want to add some very thin lines. Okay, so that's how we're going to be doing. So I'm going to be moving a little bit each time the paper. So let's start the top, and more color, I need more color. And I clean the excess in a napkin. I'm dragging the paint. Grab again. And the bottom. Clean the brush in different sizes. Okay, here we need more dark color because of the shadow. Okay, let's paint this one. Clean the brush. Grab more paint and the bottom. And here our circle start like getting close. So let's see if we can clean the paint. Remember, we're swapping the color. That's why it's important, guys, to have a good watercolor paper, because you can be doing this type of like corrections. Okay, so the next one, and here I am able to paint petals once each other like aside, because I'm working with the technique dry paper with wet brush. Oh, can you hear the wind? Okay, so I don't wanna be covering the paint with my hand, so I'm going to move a little bit this. And the last one. More paint, a little more water here. Okay, let me just move. Clean my brush, and I'm going to be following the direction with the tip of my brush of the petal. Then the bottom as well. Okay, so before it's dry, we can go back, grab more of your intense pink. That means it's the same pink but with less water. And as my paper is still wet, can play more with my shadows. It's wet in the areas that I add paint. That makes sense? And it is not moving, then what we can do is add water into your brush. Like, I'm going to clean my brush, add a little bit of water, and then I go and touch the paint that I add besides, and I'm moving the paint again. So I want you to see how the color is going to start going darker and darker. That's the idea. Let's add more pink to my palette, because this is the last part of the darker color before using our crystal pen. So I have the line, I add water to my brush, so you need to use the water to your favor, on your favor. But I like to have like the darker pink in the bottom as well. It's going to look really nice with the yellow and the brownish and the orange that we're going to be adding. So I'm going to move a little bit my paper, clean my brush, clean my brush and make it better. So we're missing one more. And let me just flip my page, clean my brush. Okay, and the bottom. Clean my brush and just with the tip move the paint. Okay, so now my brush has a little of the pink. I'm going to give some color to this part, a little bit more color. very soft and gentle. Okay, you need to have more like lighter, the folding need to be lighter always than the bottom part. So I'm just blending here. I want to have soft color. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to use, I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to use my crystal pen. Okay, so but before drying we can take advantage and use some of the yellow and add some dots. And now it's time to dry it. Okay, let me check on you. Oh, thank you, Heather, good to see you here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the center part and then I want to do the crystal because I want you to see the two options that you can have. Okay, so for that I want to grab my orange and I want to add some little dots with this orange. Go all around. Oops, let me just clean it. It was too much. We can even change with my tiny brush. Let's check that it's clean. Oh, it has green, see? That's what I was telling you before, guys. Before moving and change brushes, you need to be sure that the brush is clean. So I'm just adding some dots. I don't want to lose the whole yellow thing, but I want to add some dots. Then I have my umber color and with the tip of my brush I'm going to go around, tap 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 around. Let me grab more. Just around and some inside, not all, some. Okay, so now I'm going to dry it and now we can work the petals. So this is one way to do it. You can leave it like that and you can just start painting, just paint this stem and that's it. But I want you guys to show you how to create these lines with the crystal pen. Okay, for that we're going to need to wet the petal. So clean your brush again and be sure it has some yellow, so I need to clean it better. Wet my first petal. That way need to be dry, super dry, because you don't want to drag the paint that is in the bottom, right? Now I'm going to grab some of my darker red and I'm going to add some dot in the bottom. And now I want to grab my crystal pen and I want to add some lines. So by doing this, you are like cutting the paper. Kill the paper, the cotton of the paper. Then I'm going to add some of this red in the top. And remember, the paper is wet, so it's going to be moving. And there you go, you have your first petal. Okay, let's clean my brush. Some clean water. So we need to, I'm going to work the next one, no, then the another one. Wet it. Grab your very intense red, this naphtol red. Grab your pen and move the color. Here I'm doing gentle. And then the top. Some of this red in the top. I'm going to clean my brush because I want to move this red into the lines. See? Okay, let's do the next one. And remember, always you need to curve the shape of the petals with your lines. And at the end, if you notice, this one is start getting dry. It's not super intense. I can see some lines. Okay, let's paint this one. Darker nephthol red. Or the darker red that you have. And I'm going to clean my brush because I want to move this color. Okay, let me check on you. Good. So I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to paint this tree. Okay, there you go. So clean your brush, grab clean water, and I'm going to wet all this petal. Grab my darker red, put it in the bottom and in the top. And with your pen, move the color. And if you see that the color is not moving, so grab clean water in your brush and add some water. And you will see now how the lines will pop up. That means I need to wet better the petal. So let me just clean my brush. And this one we need to do it better. So I'm going to wet it better. It's okay. Good to see you here, Jilly. Wetting the whole petal very well. Then grab your darker red, put it in the bottom and in the top. And I'm going to flip a little bit my page. And you know what I'm going to do? You don't need this anymore. And 1, 2, follow the curve of the petal. Remember guys, it's very important. Don't make straight lines, curve lines, okay? So now we're going to be painting this guy. And your brush need to be clean, because when you add clean water, you don't want to stain or to glaze your petal. You just need to add clean water. darker red. Oh, thank you, Jilly. At the bottom and in the top. And I'm going to move a little bit again. And here we can see how the watercolor was like, hello Yvette. So it's no problem. Grab a little piece of paper, napkin, whatever you have, and just tap it. You're going to like grab the extra color. So in this point you need to decide, let me just finish the lines. It's very important that the lines are not cut. So in this point it's important to see if you like it or you want to just add more color. Like for instance here I'm going to grab a little bit of the red, but with water this time, because I want to add more of this red here and here. So I'm just checking, like here we need to as well or more of the red. I'm going to flip my paper, clean my brush, because you can add as many extra lines, guys, that your flower decide to have. Okay, so let me do a zoom out, and you can see all my brushes and everything, all my mess. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint the little branch, the stem, and then I'm going to go back and to finish working the center part of the flower. Okay, so for that I'm going to be using my small brush. Let me just clean it. I'm going to grab some of my permanent green, and I want to have different color of the background, so I'm going to grab a little bit of the yellow to make it more like a lemon yellow, green yellowish. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of my Hawker's green, and in my right side I'm going to add very soft line. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm going just to move and blend the colors. There you go. Okay, so here you have it, girls. The stem just simple, and now the middle part we're missing some orange, so I want to grab yellow, some yellow that I have here, and I have some this light red. My lightest red is my red from Winsor & Newton, because I want to have like a very bright orange. Just I want to add some dots. And I like to see contrast, guys, so I am very like passionate. So let's use some of my I have here my Payne's gray, so I'm going to grab a little bit of my Payne's gray. It can be, yes, a calligraphy. You can use a calligraphy pen. It's a glass pen, but people use it also for calligraphy. So the Payne's gray, I want to add some dots first outside, and then some inside. By doing this, I'm giving more character. Okay, and I want you guys to be what I'm saying when I say more character. It's really intense. It's not black, it's Payne's gray. Okay, so I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to add some white and we are done. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me read to you. Okay, so I have a Amazon store and there is a glass pen as a sample in the area where it says material for watercolor. You can find it there, or you can just go on Amazon and type crystal glass pen or a calligraphy pen as Heather mentioned it. So I have here my white pro that you can use this or wash or acrylic. I'm going to clean my little brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of the white, and if you're looking for this white pro as well, it's in my Amazon store. So you can use the glass pen, or you can use a very thin brush. I have a thinner brush. Let me show you. This is my baby brush. It's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh my god, one more 0 and it's going to disappear. So grab some of the white and we're going to add some dots in this. I did it with the pine gray. Whatever you add the pine gray, add some dots. These are type of the pistil of the flower. And you don't want to have like a line, you know, like no, move the circles, move the dots, and some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. So okay,